Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show how to make some quick and easy Warhammer terrain. Although to be honest, this kind of terrain can be used for any kind of tabletop games. And to make it nice and cheap, I'm going to use some leftover bits and pieces. So I've got a variety of bits here. I've got some tubing, some other tubing, sweet wrappers, toys. Yeah, it's a bit of anything really. It's been lying around the house. Obviously some people have been sending in some Gunpla stuff. Which I've never actually used, so it's worth having a go at using this stuff. Yeah, little bottles, basically any kind of plastic that you'd normally throw away, and bits of Lego. Yeah, it's worth keeping. So for this one, obviously I'm going to use the baked bean tin, which yeah, I'm just going to cut in half. So obviously we're going to have two sort of bunkers in this one, and I'm going to use my good old tool here. Obviously I am wearing glasses for this, just in case any bits come off, but then again I kind of wear glasses because I kind of need them anyway. But yeah, it's just a case of keeping a good old grip on this tin, just so it doesn't sort of like run away with you. But yes, always be careful guys when you're making things. Obviously you don't always do as I do. Yeah, do take sort of good precautions when you're using stuff. Obviously this thing is quite sharp as it's obviously been cut. It's a little bit jagged. So I'm just going to give it a light sanding, not too much, because I mean basically when you sand it down, it's still going to make the metal nice and sharp. I'm basically just getting off any sort of bits and pieces that are, is it burrs or something that's on it? So yeah, a bit of sanding, getting it ready, and yeah, obviously already you can see it's kind of like a bunkerish shape. So I'm just going to cover up the ends, and I've got some plastic card that I've had for quite a while, because it does seem to last a good amount of time. So yeah, just going to use the baked bean tin as a kind of a template, cut around it, to then make the front. Well, it could be the back, but I think in this case I'm going to make it as the front. So yeah, so this sort of design is going to be really simple. I'm not going to do a whole lot to it other than obviously a few bits of building and then some painting. I am going to make sort of like rough looking doors on the front, but obviously yeah, you guys, if you are going to make something similar to this, make it however it sort of fits in with your sort of campaign or gameplay or obviously the figures that you use. So yeah, nice and simple this one, and yeah, a bit of glue, we'll get them fronts put on. So over the next few weeks, maybe even months guys, I'm going to be doing quite a few of these sort of quick and simple builds. And basically the main reason for that is, obviously, I don't know if many of you might well know, I'm a wedding photographer. But obviously I'm a wedding photographer that hasn't done or had many weddings over the last sort of year or so. But now with the lockdowns sort of easing up, it looks like I have got some weddings coming up, which is awesome. Because I can certainly do with the money. So yeah, so I've got quite a few weddings coming up. Obviously July, August are sort of generally my busiest months anyway. So I'm not going to have a lot of time to sort of do my usual sort of 30-40 hour builds. So that's why I thought I'd have a go at doing some nice, quick, simple, easy ones, using the variety of bits and pieces I've got lying around the house. And I say obviously I've got these Gunpla bits. Yeah, still cutting off obviously the nibbly-knobbly bits off of these. So yeah, I'm going to do a variety of builds, nice and simple, nice and quick. But yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy these as much as I enjoy making them. They are all going to be sort of tabletop game related, whether it's Warhammer, D&D, or just sort of any made-up pieces. But yeah, I've got a few ideas of things I want to make, and I'm definitely going to get old Crazy Dave back in something. He's been in a couple of sort of like flying machines and walking weird vehicles, but I guess I really need to make him a tank, so that's what I'm going to do next. So yeah, for the base of this, again, I'm keeping it nice and simple and easy, and I'm basically going to use a glue gun, obviously to join these two together. But I'm also going to use the glue gun to make the base. So nice and simple and very cheap, because these glue guns are very inexpensive, and the glue sticks are obviously very cheap too. So yeah, I'm just going to squirt out loads and loads of glue, and obviously that, once it's dry, it doesn't take long to dry either, will then make the base of this. But obviously as I've got the doors here, I want to kind of have a pathway kind of coming out, because these are mostly going to be painted brown as in like for dirt, but I am going to do some flocking later just to add a bit of grass. So I'm just trying to smooth out an area there for the pathway. And yeah, it's just a case of going around and doing the rest of it. I think for the whole of this base I used, I think it was about 1.5 glue sticks, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, so it doesn't take long to dry, about 15 minutes later and it's ready to peel off, and then get some primer on. And then we're down to the good old business of some paint. And as this is going to be a metal shack, it's going to be a rusty metal shack, obviously. So I'm going to go over the whole thing first of all in this sort of brown. Basically I'm going to cover the whole of the building and also the base. As I say, I'm going to do grass over the top, but I kind of want the grass to be a little bit patchy, so seeing the brown come through underneath will be cool. And yeah, obviously doing the brown on the building itself, just because obviously I think the brown makes a good sort of start for a rusty. So the paints I use are nice and cheap, which is cool because obviously then they can cover large areas, and again, it doesn't cost you much money. I am leaving links down below to everything I use. And again, guys, I am an affiliate with Amazon, so every time you buy something, it doesn't cost you any more, but a few pennies go my way, which obviously I can then use to buy more and more bits and pieces. Another way you can support the channel, guys, is by becoming a patron. It's only a couple of pounds a month, and for that, obviously, you're helping support the channel by me being able to buy more materials. You also get behind the scenes pictures and videos of what I'm currently working on, and obviously you get your name here on one of my videos. So a big thank you to everyone supporting my channel, whether you are a patron or someone who buys from the Amazon affiliate links, and just for basically watching my videos, liking, subscribing and leaving comments, guys. That all helps out, as one day I really would like to be able to do this full time. So yeah, back to the video. Obviously, as you can see, I'm painting it green. That's going to be the sort of the main colour, or would have been the main colour of this this bunker before the rust sort of set in. So yeah, I'm using the sponge just to sort of dab it in, just to give it a bit of an irregular look. And then once that's dry, I can then go over with my good old Vallejo wash. But I am looking at making my own washes soon, because basically this stuff's pretty expensive and you don't get a whole lot of it. And I've kind of heard that using oil paints and white spirit is a good way of making your own washes. But let me know in the comments, guys, if that's how you make your own washes, or if there is a better way. As basically, yeah, I want to make up loads, but cheap. So there you go, it's starting to look a little bit more rusty, but now I want to add a bit more sort of like a texture to it. And my favourite way of doing this is by getting some grout, or in this case I make some filler, adding some paint to it, mixing it up, and then basically sort of like dabbing it on. So this way, when it does sort of dry, it then has a nice rough, uneven sort of texture to it. Basically, so it looks like it is rust that's sort of breaking through the metal, or the metal's turned into rust. So yeah, just using my little brush, dabbing this on. Yeah, I mean, because I do use a lot of old brushes. They aren't exactly the best. I mean, they probably weren't the best brushes when I first got them, to be honest. So yes, I don't mind using brushes with a bit of grout. But yeah, basically give them a good old clean straight away, and they're almost as good as new. Well, brand new, second hand sort of stuff. So yeah, I've kind of put this on niggly wiggly all over the place. And yeah, I just like the effect that it gives, basically. And once it has dried, just sort of like darken it up and give it a bit more of a shadowy and dirtier looking thing. Yeah, good old black wash. But again, I really do want to make up my own washes, because even this one's obviously still quite expensive. So the painting's almost complete, but I felt some parts of the green almost went a bit too wishy-washy when I put the wash over it. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to go over a few of the areas with a bit more green. So then it would be sort of like two varieties of the green, like a stronger, nice green, and then a green that's sort of started to fade away, and then obviously where it's completely turned into rust. So yeah, so the final stage once this has all dried is I basically like to go over it with sort of a dry brush, and I use a silver, just because obviously this then makes it look like it's sort of worn edges, and you can see the original silver that's obviously underneath and makes up these metal bunkers. So yeah, a bit of dry brushing, just sort of, well, basically I'm going all over, but the good thing with this is it really does hit those textured rusty areas, just so you've got sort of rust and some sort of metal showing through, which I think really gives a good overall effect. Again, yeah, nice and simple, nice and quick, and nice and easy. And there we go, guys. The next thing I want to do is to finish it off. I say I'm going to add some grass to the browny sort of basic area. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it sort of a little bit patchy. So rather than sort of making sure there's glue over the whole thing, I'm just going to like dot it around. So a few bits, hopefully you'll still be able to see some of the brown coming through, just to make it look a bit more sort of rurally, rusticy and muddy, obviously. So yeah, a bit of PVA glue, put that all over, let that sort of start to semi-dry, not fully dry, because I'll leave it sort of like a minute or so, which is just enough time for me to go and get the grass and the flocker all ready. And yeah, I keep saying I don't really use this much, but every time I do use it, I kind of enjoy it and I think it's quite funny. One thing, it makes a little bit of a mess, obviously good old shaking it around, but say the mess isn't too bad because that's why I put the paper underneath, just to try and like keep it all in one place. It makes it easier then to sort of scoop up and put back in its little pot. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's it, almost pretty much complete. Hope you enjoyed this little build. So it's nice to make a fun sort of short, quick little thing. And yeah, so I'm going to be making some more sort of like terrain. So I'll be making some more Warhammer terrain and just general sort of tabletop gaming terrain. And yeah, you will be seeing Crazy Dave soon as well, because I want to crash bash? I want to scratch bash him some sort of tank, I think is what I'm looking for. So yeah, cool. Cheers guys, thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you later. Okay, bye for now.